Alright, what's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of Live, Laugh, Left. As we continue on. I'm not really numbering the episodes anymore, by the way. I'm just not. Because I don't give a fuck. Garry's back. He's here. We have a lot to talk about today. But first, let's start off with our episode-ly trivia. So here we go. Are you ready, Garry? How many U.S. cities have all four major U.S. sports teams? Give me the number, and if you want, you can try and name them all. You don't have to know exactly which cities it is, you just have to know the number. But bonus point for naming them all.
Yeah. I'm gonna try naming them all. So, and I'll count on my fingers. So,
And by the way, four major U.S. sports teams. I mean the NHL, the MLB, the NFL, and NBA. Okay. Just want to clarify that for some of our international viewers, because I do have a good amount of those.
so let's get the easy ones out of the way. Okay, Michigan.
That's not a city.
Sorry, Detroit. My bad. Uh,
This is my cohort, guys. Name a city. Michigan.
listen, I'm tired. Okay, it should be nighttime. I go to bed. But anyways, uh, Detroit. Trying to think. Oh, Colorado. I don't think is there. No, no. Actually, I think they are. They have the Colorado, or they have Denver. They have Denver, but I'm trying to think. Denver Nuggets, Denver, Colorado Rockies, Avalanche, and then the yeah, that's about it. So Colorado. This is very sad for me. Um, LA. I know that for a fact. Um, Arizona is no more. So that used to be, but not anymore. Um, you know what? Honestly, I can't think of anything. So I'm gonna go with teams that don't have a team. Arizona, Pittsburgh, uh, Nebraska. I'm thinking about the states first off.
The great city of Nebraska with all four major U.S. sports teams.
I'm asking you this question though. That's the question. Anyways, I don't. So tell me, why don't you
Do you have a
tell
number?
every
Just say a number.
24?
Okay, Garry was a little far off with that one. The correct answer is 10, actually. And you had three of them. Detroit, Los Angeles, and Denver are three of them. Also included are Philadelphia, Miami, Dallas slash Arlington, New York, Boston, Chicago, and Minneapolis. All have all four. So, kind of a little cool fact of the day. So that is That is trivia completed. What happened? Am I back? Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, anyway.
What a way to come back to.
Hold on, I got reminded of another trivia question that I want to talk about in the future. So I'm adding it real quick before I forget it. Okay, so we got a lot to talk about today. There's gonna be a lot to talk about football related. We'll get to football later. We get the last week episode. We started off with football. Today we're gonna end off with football because there's a lot to talk about. I do want to give a quick NASCAR recap. We'll get to that in here first. The only NASCAR news of the week is that Brent Cruz is going to be going to the JGR ride going to JGR in the new O'Reilly Auto Parts series. That's cool.
Series.
Brent Cruz had a pretty good run in the trucks, and will now be going up to the next level, is what we'll say. That's pretty cool. That's all I had for NASCAR. As far as other MSU sports, before we get into the main four that I like talking about, the women's soccer tournament run did come to an end this past Sunday. I think it was past Sunday. They were eliminated after a 5-1 loss on the road against Stanford. So in the Elite Eight. Unfortunate, but they had a good run. It was a good season. They weren't expected to get that far, so did a really good job. And Stanford's a really good team. I wouldn't be surprised if they win the national championship. So, nothing baseball related that I want to bring up today. As far as hockey goes, MSU was able to rebound with a sweep of Colgate this past week, taking them down both 5-2 and then 4-1. And that 5-2 win was without Trey Augustine, so that's pretty good. They did not start Trey Augustine.
To remember, guys, it is not the Colgate the toothpaste. It is the Colgate the college. Just remember.
Well,
not the
I
toothpaste.
wouldn't be surprised if they have a brand deal with Colgate, the toothpaste. Kind of a missed opportunity if you don't make one. By the way, this is the last.
Make like at one. By the way, make like a jersey that's just Colgate colored.
That would be funny. That would actually be really funny. I'd buy that.
I would add to the jerseys.
So MSU hockey had a nice rebound. It has not been a good time for the Red Wings. They are currently on a 4-game losing streak. They lost to the Devils 4-3. They lost to Nashville 6-3, as well as Tampa Bay 6-3. And then they recently just lost to Boston in a shootout 3-2. So not been the time to be a Red Wings fan. I tell you that much. They kind of suck.
Sorry. Are we going up the stuff?
Well, that's all the hockey that I had to talk about, Gary. I think you can comment on the K-Wing stuff if you want to get that out of the way.
Sure. I'll do that. So on November 26th, the K-Wings won in overtime against the Fort Wayne Comets 2-1, which that was their first win in a while actually, because their last win was a 5-1 win against the Iowa Heartlanders, um, which was on November 27th or 20th. Then on the 27th, they faced the Comets again. But this time lost in overtime, 3-2. And then the day after, uh, the Cyclones come into town and do the exact same thing the Comets did. That's going to overtime, and K Wings took the L. So they're on a back-to-back losing streak. Their next game is, I think, against the Comets again. Um, by the way, just letting people know, the Comets and K Wings are big rivals. Okay? And if you guys didn't know, the Lugnuts and the Fort Wayne Tin Caps are also big, huge rivals. So it's one of those things. It's a kind of a hatred in the state of Michigan. Oh no, the Bison they play on December 5th. So they'll play the Bison from Bloomington, Indiana. No, Bloomington, Illinois. My bad.
Sweet.
All right. Um, yeah, you already talked about the Detroit Red Wings. Um, want to talk, if you want to talk about the Pistons, or I could talk about the Pistons, and you could talk about the
Yeah,
MSU
let's get back
women's.
to basketball here. It's a good week for MSU basketball as they both went on to their Feast Week tournaments. The men were able to get a couple of victories down in Fort Myers, taking down East Carolina 89-56, and then another dominant victory against a ranked opponent, taking down number 16 North Carolina 74-58. So MSU is on a hot streak right now,
Just
and
realized they beat Carolina teams.
yeah, they did play two Carolina teams. It's kind of funny. But MSU now up to number 7 in the AP poll. That's their highest ranking in quite a while. They only ever got to number 8 last year, so this is a new high for them with an undefeated
Thought they
start
were
and 4 ranked wins, or 3. 3 ranked wins, 3 ranked wins, but a 4th one potentially coming up on Saturday against Duke.
where I won't be able to go, but someone might.
It was a good week for the
Fun.
women's too, as they went down to the Bahamas. They took down Temple 85-50, and then won the Bahar Mar Championship against Clemson 72-64. So the women are also still undefeated to start the season. They stayed at number 20 in the AP poll rankings, though. Don't really have a marquee win yet, but they are holding out for that time. They start off 8-0, so good start for the
I do
women.
want to off real quick. The Tom Izzo bobblehead. Tyler's seen it, but I haven't shown anybody this yet. It's a win counter. So if anyone wanted to know how many wins Coach Izzo has, 743 wins.
Nice.
Have to be
I have a
careful here
feeling that
because I
number
don't.
will continue to climb, as it will continue to climb.
Hopefully 800.
It's been an up and down week for the Detroit Pistons as well. They tied the franchise record for victories, 112-117 against, I believe, Indiana was that game that they won. But then they lost back to back. And they were
It's gonna
heartbreakers
happen.
too. And they were both NBA Cup games, so they're out of the race for the NBA Cup despite still being the top dog in the Eastern Conference after losing back-to-back games to the Celtics, 117-114. Cade Cunningham had a chance to make the game-tying free throw. on a 3-pointer that he was fouled on. Made the first two and missed the third one. Still after a 42-point night. And then they followed that up with a 112 to 109 loss to the Magic at home to be eliminated from the NBA Cup on another triple-double night from Cade Cunningham. But the Pistons did rebound recently on the road against the Miami Heat, 138 to 135. This was after Miami almost stormed back from a 17-point deficit in the fourth quarter, but the Pistons were able to hang on. So they're still doing okay. They're still top the Eastern Conference. They are still doing fine. They're going to get some more guys back from injury soon. So nothing super crazy to worry about there. But you know, they weren't going to win all their games. Now it was a stupid way to lose to the Celtics and into the Magic, even the Magic that lost. And you know, the Celtics aren't that good. But the Celtics are the Celtics, right? But you got to beat the Magic. You got to beat the Magic at home. Come on now, people. What are we doing here?
They are playing right now, actually, too. I know the game's not over yet, but currently, as we're recording, they are down 12-7 against the Atlanta Hawks. So, but it's the first quarter; it just started. So, what?
Unfortunate. That's all the basketball stuff that I had to talk about. I have a few other topics that we will get to in a future episode. Well, actually, I did want to touch on something that I should have brought up last episode, but I left it out. Anybody ever notice that John Calipari looks like a mafia boss?
Wait, John, wait, what? Now I have to look this up.
Now, obviously, it's not confirmed if he's in the mafia or not. But I mean, my God, you can't really get more Italian than this. It's got the last name Calipari. Sounds like a type of pasta. He does that Italian mafia arm cross thing. You can't really reenact it if you're not Italian. But he's got that Italian cross thing. His voice sounds so calm, yet so stern. And it's really not something that is very calming. It's supposed to be calming, but it's not. And he's pulled some shady stuff in his career. And I like to think that is because he's in the frickin' mafia.
Let's look at his Wikipedia.
I mean, this guy is one of the most unclutch coaches of all time. So you're thinking, oh, how the hell did this guy win a fucking national championship? I think it was the mafia. I think that the mafia is... this whole thing with the mafia rigging games, it runs really fucking deep. And I think John Calipari needs to be investigated for being in the mafia. I mean, who else just does this and can't be investigated? Come on now. I'm not sold on it. I don't care. That's my 5 cents on that matter. But what do you think?
He was the head coach.
Mafia?
The way I'm looking at it, it shows Calipari in 2014 and on Wikipedia. He kind of does. I'm not seeing any other pictures of him, but I mean, that picture. That picture I'm saving and sending to you. That picture is definitely... Let me just go over to Pringleson. Let me shoot, not that. Sorry, my language, everybody. There.
Yep. That's a mafia boss image if I've ever seen one.
But what's funny is...
seriously, it can't get much more Italian than that. The suit, the stance, the face. I mean, put a plate of Parmesan in front of that guy. Come on now.
At first, I was like, "Who's John Calipari?" And then I'm like, "Oh, it's the Kentucky guy."
He's not at Kentucky anymore, though. He's at Arkansas now.
He'll be always in Kentucky in my eyes.
True.
I used to like Kentucky when he was there.
True.
Now I just hate
Kentucky bad. Arkansas bad. Everybody bad.
him.
Except MSU.
Alabama and Louisville is not bad. Sorry, people who likes Alabama and Louisville. I just don't like them.
Okay, well, we're moving on to the main topic of today's episode, and that is football. Lots been going on with football. In the NFL, we'll get the NFL action out of the way first. It was Thanksgiving football for the Lions, and per their Thanksgiving tradition, they lost. They looked like dog shit against the Packers, getting off to an extremely slow start, and really not being able to catch up. Not helped by the fact that Amon-Ra St. Brown went down with an injury in the first quarter. He's going to miss 1 to 2 more games as a result of an ankle injury. So that's just awesome. So Jameson Williams and Isaac Tesla and a bunch of other random bench guys had to carry the load. But the Packers were always 2 steps ahead of the Lions and came away with the 31-24 victory. This all but eliminates the Lions from playoff contention. It surely eliminates them from division contention, as they're now 7-5, while the fucking Bears are somehow 9-3, with the top dog, not just the NFC North, but the entire NFC. And the Packers are 8-3-1 now with the season sweep over the Lions. So what the fuck's going on here? And if the Vikings had a competent quarterback situation, they'd be ahead of the Lions too. The fuck's going on, people? So that's where the situation sucks right now. Dan Campbell, you need to turn the play calling offers back over to John Morton. I don't care. You tried it. It didn't really work out, but you tried it. You need to turn it back over. You need to worry about coaching. Your defense got absolutely torched by a bunch of secondary receivers on Green Bay's team and Christian Watson. Okay, you can't have that happen. And also, can we stop scheduling the Packers on Thanksgiving? We always fucking lose to the Packers on Thanksgiving. Why the fuck do we keep scheduling them? Green Bay could be 0-11 and the Lions could be 11-0 and the Packers would still fucking win.
You do realize we only get the Bears or the Packers or maybe the Vikings on Thanksgiving.
That's not true. That's not true. They played the Bills on Thanksgiving. They played the Colts on Thanksgiving before. They played the Texans.
You know what I really wish? They have the 2 teams, Cowboys, Lions, who play on Thanksgiving, play against each other.
No, they each have to get a home game. That's the tradition. Now they should get rid of the night game between 2 random teams that makes no fucking sense. Though that was a pretty good game this year.
I don't even know what the 2 teams were. The Ravens and what else?
Bengals Ravens, and the Bengals won, which was hilarious.
Are you sure that you weren't on anything?
Can you verify your sources for once? Look it up. And then the Cowboys beat the Chiefs. That's funny. So there's that.
I'm thinking of the Colts game. Never mind.
So that was the Thanksgiving action. Going back to the Lions, they had some hope when Frank Ragnow announced that he was coming out of retirement to go for the remainder of the season. So he reports to team facilities for his physical so he can get reinstated to the team. And guess what they find? A hamstring tear. How do you go about life not knowing you have a hamstring tear? What the fuck? So he's out for the rest of the season. He can't play. He might come back in 2026. He might not. Great, great piece of false hope that was. So no more Frank Ragnow. So the Lions are kind of fucked. Kind of fucked.
A bit angry.
Oh, but the grass might be greener on the other side. Well, actually, let's finish up NFL conversation. I did have a couple of the things I wanted to mention about random NFL action. We did have a big upset this past weekend with the Panthers taking down the Rams. The top dog in the NFC is gone. The Panthers won 31-28, a huge upset there to really shake up the seeding, which gives the fucking Bears.
Stafford sucks.
The fucking Bears, the 1 seed. That can't stick around.
It's okay, someone's going to take it from him. Seahawks. It's called the Seahawks.
That's true. Also, I just want to comment on the fact of how much I hate Chris Collinsworth as a broadcaster. I think he's just fucking terrible. He loves just sucking off Patrick Mahomes' dick whenever he gets the chance to. And he doesn't actually have any good football takes at all. And he's like, oh, here's a guy. Oh, you gotta do this. They do the thing that he says to do. Oh, no, you shouldn't have done that. That's his whole thing. That's his whole stigma. Unless it's a Chiefs game. And NBC gets about 8 Chiefs games a year. So, of course, he's just going to be like, oh, Patrick Mahomes throws a back-breaking pick 6 to lose the game. Oh, Patrick Mahomes, he can't do anything wrong. He can't do anything wrong. He's going to go. He's going to go. No! That's what he does.
Someone clip what he just did. Anyways, what I was going to say was, for example, the Lions and Chiefs game, he literally was, while Jared Goff was throwing the ball, he was saying, now you could do what Patrick Mahomes does, and that's throw this, or then this, that. And I'm like, dude, no one wants to hear you speak your shenanigans about Patrick Mahomes. If we breathe on him, flag. If there's anything else, flag. There is nothing to do that we can never get by Patrick Mahomes. Even though he's on my fantasy. He's my quarterback in fantasy. Still fucking trash.
Anyway, I hate Chris Collinsworth. He fucking sucks. I want NBC to get rid of his ass so much. I want Tony Romo gone too. You can take fucking Tony Romo with you. They both suck. They're both terrible. They don't contribute anything to the broadcast. They suck. Anyway, speaking of fantasy football.
Hold on a minute before you say anything.
I'm 10-3.
I need to make sure.
I'm 10-3.
Now that he has won, people. Okay? Now that he has won, I'm going to make sure to get the trophy from my friend. We have a regular season Super Bowl trophy. Because now that you have won, and now you are 10-3, if everything goes well, if I beat my sister, which right now, currently, I am down a lot, but if I beat her,
so you're not going to beat her. You're not going to beat her. That's what I'm saying.
I have 2 players playing, I think. No, I only have 1, but still, he could hit 50 points. He could hit 50 points. I'm not kidding. He's a wide receiver.
Well, I got a 50-point performance from A.J. Brown this week, and I got a near 50-point performance from the Seahawks defense. That's how I was able to steamroll my opponent. 227 to 133 was the final score there. But yeah, what are the standings? Oh yeah, I guess I could still lose because your sister's on a 3-game win streak, But I'm 10-3. She's probably gonna be 9-4. And there's only one more game, and there's only one more regular week, right? And then we go to the playoffs. There's two more. I thought we did 14.
Yes.
I thought we did 14 weeks. Did you upgrade to 15?
So since there are 6, and I decided, hey, why don't we do a little
There's 8.
fun?
There's 8 people in the league.
Yeah. So this is what the dude, I'm trying to find the playoff spot, but
What's up, Nick?
what would happen would be, you would get the first round bye, and my friend Noah would get the first round bye. Then, um, I think I would go up against my sister, and then my brother-in-law Brian, and then my friend Nathan would go up against each other for the spots to face you and all that. So I'm actually fighting for a first round bye.
Me. But it's pretty good. I am loving it. I'm 10-3 on the year now. I'm gonna win the championship again. My players are goated. Yep.
There's the standings.
Oh yeah, great
between all.
Dude, the one seed in the other division is a 6-6.
Yeah, second place is 6-6, and that other 6-6 person is me.
Ew.
My brother ain't gonna beat him, so I'm screwed now.
Breaking news! Breaking news! Uniform drop.
What?
Uniform drop. Look at those.
Huh.
I'm assuming that's going to be our look on Saturday. Maybe tomorrow. Or I guess it'd be yesterday, the time of this going up, but we'll find out, I guess.
You guys.
I love it.
That's why I'm wearing day, and that's why
I love it. I love those uniforms. Yeah, love those uniforms.
I follow Jeremy Fears on X, and he said for a surprise, and then now that you posted that, I know what it was.
Absolutely. Great choice. But that's all I've got to say regarding NFL action this week. For now, we'll move into the meat and potatoes of the episode, and that is college football. Now, the regular season just ended for college football, so a lot of schools have gotten into the process of letting go of their coaches or hiring new ones. A lot of movement coming, especially from the SEC. We'll go over that really quickly before we get into what MSU has been doing, because believe me, they did something. But there was a lot of drama going down about Lane Kiffin and if he was going to stay at Ole Miss or leave. And he decided, and there was this whole thing about him holding out on his decision because he wanted to coach the playoffs, but it was pretty clear he wasn't going to come back to Ole Miss, so Ole Miss wasn't going to let him coach the playoffs. And when he wanted to, he threatened to take his whole staff if he didn't get to do that. It's all finally resolved. Lane Kiffin is gone from Ole Miss. He has left despite the team going to be in the playoffs this year, still contending for a national championship. He is gone. He took the LSU job and is working currently over there. So that got all settled. It was a very nasty situation. A lot of mean things were said both from Kiffin and from some other people in the athletic department. But it is sorted now. He leaves on very sour terms with the Ole Miss community. Alex Golesh is going to be taking the Auburn job, coming over from USF. And John Summerall is going to be coming over to Florida from Tulane. So those three positions, LSU, Auburn, and Florida, are filled. But the Ole Miss job is now open, as well as the Kentucky job is now open, as Kentucky has fired Mark Stoops after 13 seasons at Kentucky, and some pretty good records while there. 4-4 bowl game record.
Seems like you said most of those teams were SEC schools.
What?
SEC schools.
Those are all SEC schools.
Didn't you say South Florida?
They're coming from USF to the
Oh,
SEC.
okay. Gotcha. Now I'm on the train.
So that is what's been going on in mostly the rest of the college football realm. Now, what has MSU been doing? I made a rant on this. It went up a couple of days ago. Now, MSU was trying to end their season on a high note this past weekend. They were playing Maryland at Ford Field. Honestly, didn't expect much, but they played probably their best game of the season, and that's not saying much, but I think it is true. They beat Maryland 38-28, breaking the 8-game losing streak that they were on, and finishing the season off 4-8. Not a great record, but they end on a high note with a win, a good win at that. I mean, Maryland put up a fight. They almost blew a 17-point lead, and Maryland's quarterback threw for almost 500 yards, but they had no running game, and MSU sealed it on a late fourth down call that was Dan Campbell-esque, right in his home turf. And it paid off, and they were able to seal the win by 10 points. That's not the part that I'm necessarily mad about. Now, the season, ow, just bit my tongue. Ow, ow, ow.
Oof.
Okay, we're good.
You still got.
The season as a whole was a disaster. I mean, I don't think we need to talk about that much. Really through the first 5 weeks of the season, things were fine. They had picked up the 3 wins at home, including a double overtime win over Boston College that looked good at the time. But Boston College finished 2-10, ladies and gentlemen, so maybe it wasn't such a I think I'm back. Can you hear me? Stupid cat keeps unplugging my microphone. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, 4-8 season, bad. They were 3-2 though after week 5. They had a couple of close losses against ranked opponents, USC and Nebraska. Okay, so maybe things are, they can turn it around and maybe make a bowl game. Then they played UCLA at home. And that's where it really went downhill. I'm full-heartedly think that Jonathan Smith was informed of his firing after the Nebraska win. Or the Nebraska loss. Because that's when it seemed like the team really stopped giving a fuck. They got their ass beat by UCLA at home on homecoming. Then they lose to Indiana by the same score. They lose to Michigan in a game that was fucking winnable. They lose to... Who did they play after that? They played, they went on a bye. And then they played fucking Minnesota. Blew that game in overtime. Then they get their ass beat in the fourth quarter by Penn State. Then they blow a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter against Iowa when Iowa had no offense to speak of. And then we get here to this game. Finally beating Maryland, realizing their offensive potential, and playing like they gave a fuck. So, to say that Jonathan Smith is fired is not a surprising move. He was terrible. He showed zero emotion. He just did not give a fuck. And the team's performance really showed. The Aiden Childs situation was awful. He's not a good quarterback. The guy that was brought in, his backup, who's been playing the last few games, he looked really good. Problem is, outside of Nick Marsh, there was no competent receivers to back him up, and so Nick Marsh was triple teamed each time, and they couldn't do anything. So it's not surprising that Jonathan Smith is fired, but the athletic director was brought in for one reason and one reason only, and that was to increase revenue for the university. So tell me, what sense does it make to fire a coach with a $33 million buyout when there's at least, and this is at least, 8 schools that are better spots for incoming coaches than MSU? At the time, there was still Florida, there was still LSU, there's still Penn State. Penn State is still on the table. There is Oklahoma State. There's now Kentucky. So many other schools that were much better fits for coaches, that are much better positions as a program than MSU. So why not bring him back another season, reduce the buyout, and you open up, and then all these positions get filled. Then, when you fire him next year, or he goes off and becomes a competitive coach again, and you got your problem solved, or you fire him and you have better pickings of coaching. But no, you didn't do that. But this decision, like I said earlier, had been made months ago. Because not even 24 hours after firing Jonathan Smith, merely really just a couple hours after firing him, they hired Pat Fitzgerald. Pat Fitzgerald was the former Northwestern coach for a long time, 17 years. He amassed a record of 110 and 101. And you know why he wasn't at Northwestern anymore? Because he got caught up in a hazing scandal and got fired because of it. Great move, Mr. Athletic Director. Let's hire another guy who has baggage of scandals behind him. That's just what the university needs after Larry Nassar, after Mel Tucker, after everything. Let's bring in another scandalous guy. And so they did it. They hired him. And even if you take away the scandalous fact of it all, he wasn't that great. Mid-tier record with in the Big Ten West? What? So, yeah. Pat Fitzgerald is their next coach. So maybe it'll work out. I don't know. We'll see. You know, maybe he'll be a good coach. I don't think so. Yeah, he's experienced in the Big Ten. Yeah, he knows he's probably a better coach than Jonathan Smith will ever be. Especially Mel Tucker. But is that really saying much? If we're going from 3 to 4 wins a season to 5 to 6 wins a season, where we maybe can win a bowl game, is that really much of an improvement? Is that the standard that we're going to be stuck with here? I don't like it. But I'm pretty tired with the football program in general, just because they cannot seem to figure this shit out. They are in a complete disaster of a situation. So maybe hiring in a guy who has a good track record, or has has a track record, I shouldn't say a good track record, a track record, can fulfill what they need to fulfill and maybe get this program back on track. Only time will tell. This is all still moving very, very fast, as college athletics normally does. So, Gary, what's your take on it all?
I just want Michigan State football to be good. That's all I want to ask. I mean, if yes, I get the hazing situation. It's not good. Was never good. I will agree with everyone that it should not happen. I just want Michigan State football to be good. I want them to get a good coach that knows Big Ten football. I don't hate Jonathan Smith because he kept losing. I hated him because he didn't have the Big Ten ability. He was in the Pac 12 at the time where, he was facing teams at the time Stanford, Washington, um, can't think of the other ones, USC, all these other teams that were in the Big Ten, yeah, that were in the Pac-12, yeah, they came over to the Big Ten. But I just want a guy that can at least make bowl games, have a winning season, have, you know, beat Michigan. Because, I don't want to go on a 5-game losing streak against Michigan. My dad is a Michigan fan, and I don't want to have to hear from him for a fifth straight year, or a sixth straight year, or a seventh straight year. I want to win. We
Well,
have a Paul Bunyan. We have a Paul Bunyan trophy out in the living room that has a Michigan helmet on it. I want that helmet to be on it. There we go. I want that helmet right there to be put on it. And it's not. 4 straight years. Okay. I just want football. The basketball's fine. Basketball's fine. They're doing great. Perfect. Soccer, they're doing great. Women's basketball, doing great. Hockey, doing great. Football, for some goddamn reason, is not doing anything. Tired of it.
I
And I
feel
know
that.
Tyler thinks the same way. He just wants the football, he wants all sports to do good. Doesn't have to be a perfect season. Because you sometimes never get that. Especially with Ohio State and Oregon. Trust me. But, I mean,
I get it. It does suck, and there is a good chance that he probably will breathe some life back into this program, a program that has long since been dead. I also want the team to be good. I want them to be at least competitive again. And they're just
the
not
last
it.
time we saw competitive was when Mark D'Antonio was here.
Right. Well, I mean, as long as you include the K9 year, then no. But
Oh yeah, a little bit, but we all know what happened there. We're not going to talk about that.
Drew. Um, and so well, maybe Pat Fitzgerald is the answer. I just don't think he is. I think the football program is so broken right now, and people are so desperate for anything resembling a good program that they're reaching, and we are wasting so much money with making these very quick and rash decisions that we are digging ourselves in a hole we're never going to be able to get out of because we are going to be too far in debt to do anything. And that's,
I think sorry, go ahead.
I think it's all about the money. It always will be about the money from here on out with NIL and all that bullshit. And, but really, The AD was in between a rock and a hard place because either you do what you do here, throwing the program for a big loop, wasting a bunch of money, or you keep him and pretty much kill any last bit of morale that's in the program. Jonathan Smith had already lost the locker room. He was not going to win any more games. Donors are pissed. Season ticket holders are pissed. So you lose all that. But you save the $33 million. I don't think pissing off a few season ticket holders would have cost $33 million. Now, maybe it would have. We'll never know. Because the decision has already been made. But it is just something to think about. I don't know. I would like to see this pan out. I just don't have a whole lot of hope that it will. But maybe, just maybe, I'll be wrong. And I love to be proven wrong in this situation.
Maybe if he doesn't do well, in the first year, if he does good, like maybe 8-4, maybe. I wouldn't go that far, but maybe 8-4. Because probably either the first season or the second season, they're gonna do terrible. Let's be honest here. You'll have Jonathan Smith players.
Like I said in the rant, it's probably gonna take a good 5 years to clean this up. I don't see us making a bowl game in at least 5 years, if not 10. Even with this guy.
And we need to celebrate when we win a bowl game because we've been waiting for it. Or even hell, making a playoff. That's far, far down the road. But
right, so, and that's kind of what I'm hoping that we get with this guy is just a little bit of patience. Feeling like Jonathan Smith, he wasn't a great coach. He had no emotion, and he needed to go, but there was no patience with that guy. He got barely any time to figure it out. And did he figure it out? No, he probably wasn't. He was not a good fit for the program. Oh well. But he had no time really to figure it out because people in this current landscape have no remorse. They have no patience because they see what happens to schools like Ole Miss, Indiana, even like Boise State. And they're like, why can't this be us?
Okay. Real quick, I do want to say something. I'm looking at this post about the jerseys that is happening on Saturday, possibly. I never want to see that neon with black.
Okay, I didn't see that one.
Ugh. But the only thing I could think of looking at that jersey is Draymond Green. Draymond Green, Denzel Valentine. All those good players. Steve Smith, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, yeah, we're just hoping the football program can get stuff up here. Maybe, and I'm taking this with maybe instead of taking Jonathan Smith, we took Matt Patricia because it seems like he's doing good in Ohio State right now.
Nope, 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 nope. Stay at Ohio State, stay at Ohio State, stay at Ohio State.
Why?
We don't need Matt Patricia part 2 around here, okay? We don't. We got plenty of Matt Patricia. We got way too much Matt Patricia. No more. No.
Yeah. Hey guys, you want me to show you what traumatizing is?
What?
Matt Patricia. You always wear a pencil.
You do look like Matt Patricia. Just get this guy on a 4-wheeler and he'll be Matt Patricia.
Buddy, I used to have one. treat myself.
So, anyways, the Pat Fitzgerald hire. Questionable. And really,
No, he,
the only time will tell if this will pan out. Just gonna have to be what it's gonna have to be. Who knows? I think that's good though for this episode. I do have a few other things that we could talk about, but I don't want this episode to run super long. So I think we'll pan it off here. And we'll continue on in the future. So that's going to do it for this episode. You want to be on this? Talking sports with us? Please don't. But if you want to, just go to join the server. We'll get you time to figure it out.
come on, Jeffofthemellows. I know you want to. I know you want to talk about sports. I know you want me to talk crap about those Packers. I will say everything about those Packers. I dare you. Come on.
Anyways, guys, though, it's going to do it for this episode. Stay tuned for other much more amazing content both here and on the Pringleson YouTube channel. And until next time, see you guys later. Goodbye.